I wanted to talk to you about a part of the Lotus Sutra today. The Lotus Sutra is a profoundly important teaching of the Mahayana Buddhist stream and later streams. There's a whole lot of really interesting things that could be said about when the Buddhist teachings went from the suttas, which were orally recorded conversations between the Buddha, who taught for 45 to 49 years, and his various students and adversaries and whatnot. When the teachings shifted from the recorded teachings of the Buddha to composed written literature. And this was a really profound shift, and I could talk for hours and hours about it. It's interesting to me, but it's not in my notes, so I'm not going to. If you've encountered any of the early suttas, S-U-T-T-A-S, it's primarily the Buddha saying things like, don't be a jerk. Maybe you should meditate. Maybe you should be nice to people. Here's how to practice mindfulness of breathing. Here's a way of looking at the world that is wholesome, that grants peace and brings release. These sutras have things like when the Buddha was teaching on Vulture Peak to 14,000 fully enlightened beings, and then a dragon, and it's storytelling writ large. It's symbolic. It's fairy tales. Look at that mural. If you know anything about the Old Testament, that's not how angels looked in the Bible. That's a whole other talk. But these are all symbols. These are all ways of conveying meaning. These words, these letters, the things I'm saying to you. So in a way, everything is a story. Even these purportedly recorded conversations that the Buddha had with his students. These are just stories that were told. And people spend a lot of time with textual criticism and studying language and trying to figure out what did the actual historical Buddha say. But in the end, it can get a little slippery. So I want to invite you to think about the following story, not in terms of, did this really happen and did it really happen like Franz is saying it happened? And more in terms of, what could this story offer to me by way of internalizing and integrating some kind of archetypal figure, some kind of hero figure from the story. In the Lotus Sutra, in the 20th chapter, there's a person called Bodhisattva Never Disparaging. This is a translation of the name given in the Lotus Sutra, Bodhisattva Sada Puri Bhatta. In English, never disparaging. Everyone knows how a good story starts. Once upon a time. Once upon a time, the earth was full of arrogant, reactive, polarized people. Nothing like now. They were disrespectful to each other. They were divided amongst each other by race, class, caste, religion, and political affiliation. They were considerate only to those that agreed with them, their own in-group or family. They were quick to anger, short-sighted, and cruel. In this age, most people had no idea that they had anything in common with anyone who was different from them in the slightest. The idea that they shared a common humanity was foreign to them. Into this world came a strange person. Bodhisattva Never Disparaging. That's not what he was called then. This is like this guy. He was called Gautama because that was his name. Later on, we all know him as the Buddha, which is, of course, his title. One of many. But for ease of storytelling, we'll say Bodhisattva Never Disparaging. Bodhisattva Never Disparaging was a strange kind of Buddhist figure, hero figure. He didn't meditate. He didn't teach sutras. He didn't practice any kind of ritual. or any kind of religion that anyone in his world would understand. Instead, his practice was as follows. Everyone he would meet, he would look at them, he would bow deeply, and he would say to them, I honor and revere you. I would never disparage you or disrespect you in any way. I know that you are following the Dharma as best you can right now. And someday you will be a Buddha. It's inevitable. Your Buddha nature will reveal itself. It's just maybe covered over right now. So I will never disparage you. I will always honor you. I love you. He would say this to all he encountered, taking great joy and spiritual fulfillment from his practice, making no distinction between the kind and the cruel, the rich and the poor, the wise and the foolish, the wicked and the good, the powerful and the powerless, etc., etc. Now this deeply confused and disconcerted and mostly annoyed everyone that he met. Even some who at first enjoyed this kind of reverence and honor, upon seeing someone else who they thought was beneath them receiving this same treatment, they would get furious. Most people, after some time, simply became convinced that he was just crazy and or stupid. The religious authorities of the time couldn't make any sense out of this nonsense. And sometimes it got so bad that some would yell at him and curse him and even throw sticks or stones to make him go away and stop bothering him with his nonsense. Bodhisattva, never disparaging, wasn't depressed or discouraged by this kind of treatment. He was fulfilled and enriched by his practice, regardless of how others reacted. He would simply, when people would throw garbage or stones or sticks at him, he would retreat to a safe distance, maybe crouch behind a tree, and then bow and repeat his mantra. I will never disparage you. I honor and revere you. I know that you will be a Buddha. But sometimes, maybe rarely, but sometimes some people felt something shift in their heart when he said this to them. Or maybe they felt it shift in their heart when they saw him bowing to someone else and saying these words. Something transmitted heart to heart between them. Maybe they even began integrating and internalizing this view and practice, at first in small ways, maybe even accidentally. Someone says, here's your lettuce, get the hell out of my store, and you say, thank you so much. Thank you. But gradually, maybe they were transforming, revealing by conduct their intrinsic Buddha nature. The story goes that after spending a whole lifetime like this, Bodhisattva never disparaged was on his deathbed. And at the very end of his life, he was able to intuit the entirety of the Dharma, which in this case, because it's a story in the Lotus Sutra, is that he spontaneously intuited the entire Lotus Sutra and attained complete liberation. But being a bodhisattva, he declined to do whatever bodhisattvas may do, whatever fully enlightened beings may do. And in the story of the Lotus Sutra, it says that he remains to this day working for the liberation of all beings. And in the story of the Lotus Sutra, it is the Buddha, the historical Buddha, telling this story. And at the very end, he says, that was me. Take that how you want. But thus ends the story of Bodhisattva never disparaging. I originally heard this story. The Lotus Sutra is not something that I've was very familiar with. I originally heard this. I'm not really 100% sure how, but there was a Zen teacher named Hozan Allen Sanak, and he actually recently passed, and he was at the San Francisco Zen Center. And He did a lot of work with homeless populations and um, engaged Buddhism, we like to call it. And I just randomly clicked on a YouTube video, all glories to the algorithm, and it played me a video of this Zen priest playing a little guitar, playing a little folksy song, singing about this bodhisattva never disparage. And I think the video was called something like Our Hero, Bodhisattva Never Disparaging or something. But I loved the song and I loved the vibe, so I looked it up. And I was really struck by this person and this teaching, this archetype of someone who doesn't really have a proper, authentic meditation practice. Someone who simply has just intuited that we all share that same awareness, that we are all branches of the same tree, that everything that draws breath, just like him, desires to be happy, tastes joy and suffering, and is born to live and die. Just imagine someone in a really hostile environment full of arrogant, angry, petty, vindictive people. Nothing like our world now. But just imagine someone holding firm to their realization. They've seen the truth of this. They can see themselves in the eyes of everyone they meet. So that no matter what their treatment is, they don't let go of that view, of that realization, even while keeping good boundaries. A boundary, of course, being that place where your love and care for yourself and your love and care for the other person can coexist nicely. Someone who, even while hiding behind a garbage bin, saying, I will never disparage you, sticks and stones. You will be a Buddha someday. What is within you has to come out. It's inevitable. You will attain the complete enlightenment and the heart of loving kindness. So ever since I saw that song and read about this bodhisattva, and especially now in the weeks coming up to this class, watching my own mind, watching the way. And it's one thing to say, oh, I don't tell people, I don't, you know, yell things at people. I don't tell them to go F themselves or, you're dumb and you're a jerk and I hate your bumper sticker and I hate your stupid MAGA hack or whatever it is. I don't say it to their face, but I think it all the time. And it might not even be something that developed, like something that, like, you don't even have to wear a MAGA hat for me to look at you and like kind of objectify you. We are animals running ancient software of survival and fight and flight and freeze. Can I fight that? Can I eat that? Can I take that? This is an ongoing, constant thing. Something comes into our field of awareness and it is met often as a threat. And if you've never sat on the cushion and fought with your mind, or fought with your neighbor's car alarm, or fought with your knee that hurts, and it becomes the biggest, most important, most threatening thing in the room, like that's also disparaging. That's also objectifying. Turning something which is an ineffable, ungraspable process arising into a thing, into a threat, into a problem. That's also disparaging. My teachers tell me that everyone and everything, every sensation I have, every thought I have, every feeling I have, every process arising in my life, every person I meet is an ungraspable, patterning of cosmic energy in an ocean of ungraspable cosmic energy. And it's very scientific. It's obvious. Carl Sagan says it. Neil deGrasse Tyson says it. Isaac Asimov says it. Every smart person says, guess what? Every iron molecule, every iron atom in your blood was born in the hearts of dying stars at the dawn of the creation of our universe. The carbon in your bones, etc., etc., etc. So that includes things like the feelings in your heart, the thoughts in your head, the situations in your life. So how strange, how unnecessarily constrictive is it when I decide that someone or some feeling or some thought or some situation is not welcome here. This will not do and has to change immediately. So every time I objectify another being, I not only erase their specialness, their uniqueness, because I don't actually know a damn thing about anyone that I've looked at and been like, they're not worth my friendship or my time or my effort or my love or my care. I don't know anything about them. They're utterly unique, completely precious in every way. But I also erase what's common to us, our shared humanity, and the Buddha nature that we both share. Maybe there are some people in your life right now that you are convinced are bad, and I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and Dharma ancestors call you to understand that they too, just like you, desire to be happy, taste joy in suffering, and are temporarily here, just passing through. So, watching my mind with the example of Bodhisattva never disparaging, ringing in my head, has been really valuable to me. That's beautiful. Someone was so surprised or tickled or happy that they just laughed out loud in gales of laughter. How easy would it be for me to be like, how dare you? We're having a meditation class in here. I'm going to go tell them what's what. So, anyway, once upon a time, there was a person who somehow, some incredible luck, somehow came to understand that every person that they encounter shares the same root, shares the same Buddha mind as them. And no matter how they were treated by them, even while being safe, taking care of themselves, having good boundaries, being skillful and appropriate depending on the situation, never relinquished their view, never relinquished their understanding, their realization. So this person, this bodhisattva, never disparaging, Fu Kyo Bozatsu, Bodhisattva Sada Paribhuta. This person is you. This archetype is available to you. You can take him with you. He can look just like you. I invite you to just try on when it's safe when you can. This idea that everyone you meet is a Buddha just like you, shares the same root, holds their heart in their hands, and that they inevitably will express their Buddha nature just like you.
Hi, my name's Tim. It's the generosity of people like you that make these videos possible. If you had some benefit from the video and feel an urge to donate, you can make a donation here. If you're interested in seeing more because you're curious, you can click here and see more videos. And if you're interested in subscribing to Long Beach Meditation, you can click here. Thank you so much for your attention. Take care.